Welcome back, Padawans. Here today talking about Star Wars Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back. And went a little long, so we're going to do it into two parts.
We've been known to do that.
Derrick has a comment to read.
I do. I got a comment on Facebook from a listener named Shantae, who is actually someone I worked with years ago on a TV show. But the way she makes it sound here is she just came upon the show. She didn't get it from my social media, because I don't post stuff much on my own personal social media. We have the podcast social media.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. So she says, I absolutely love the podcast. You know I'm a Star Wars fanatic, and I made so many squealy noises of joy when I found yours a few weeks ago. I'm still in the early episodes, but you guys are great. I'm almost done with my fourth binge watch of the entire Clone Wars series. I'm in the last season, so I have to prepare myself for the gut-wrenching agony of the end.
So she's of my ilk.
Yes. I know you don't like the cartoon. I was opposed to it at first as well. I definitely had to force my way through the first season the first time. However, the way it ties everything together is phenomenal. Chef's kiss, I dare say. Both Clone Wars and Rebels are. Once I'm caught up on Han Took Shots first, I'll start binging Bad Movies, Worst People. I'm super proud of you, dude. I had to mention that part. I like it when people are proud of me. It doesn't happen often.
See, so it's not just me that the fucking totes on those cartoons. It's good storytelling.
Well, obviously, a lot of people do. They keep making them. They did that, and then Rebels, and then the Bad Batch. So,
So yeah, maybe we can have your friend on, or just figure out how, maybe write something and we can read for an episode if they can't make it to a microphone.
Yeah, I'll see if she has the ability to do that. I'm sure everybody has. I mean, worst case scenario, she can just talk into her phone for a little bit and we can do something with her. So
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so that's it. So we're going to go into part 1 right now.
Enjoy.
Welcome back. This week, do or do not. There is no try. I'm Derrick.
I'm Jack.
And I'm Ryan.
And
I'm
Chuta. We did it at the same time, and we didn't even rehearse it. Only you did the right voice. I just yelled celebratorily.
I mean, we don't.
Fuck you!
We don't really know what Ichuta means.
It's not good, though.
It's not good. You know where that is in this movie, right?
I'm trying to remember.
It's just when 3PO first gets to Bespin, and he's like, "Oh, another protocol droid."
Oh, yes.
And you just hear Ichuta.
Yeah, right. When he's
and then
the
he
other
goes full house.
Mm-hmm.
How wooed.
How wooed. I mean, I think it's eat shit. They're just like, well, make it sound like eat shit. Ichuta.
Ichita.
Eat shita. Ichuta. Ichuta. There it is. There's a progression. It's just George in his fucking basement. Eat shit. Eat shit. Eat shit. Eat shit. Eat shit.
He's just turning it down.
Mon calamari.
Mom, calamari. Ooh, it's going in the book.
Real quick, speaking of George Lucas.
I usually am.
So we have these 4K discs that we discussed before.
Oh, yeah.
But I also had a Blu-ray already that was like a different despecialized edition. So I popped that in to see if there's any special features on it. And they had included the interviews from the VHS tapes that I have up there.
Okay.
The ones that are with Leonard Maltin right before each movie or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the one from Empire. George Lucas is just lying right through his teeth that whole thing.
About? Because I don't think I've seen that interview. Just like what he had planned out.
Yeah, Leonard Maltin's like, so I heard that this and this. And he's like, no, that's not true. Actually, everything I do is great. I don't have any like specific examples right now because I watched it late last night.
Right.
But it's just like everything Leonard Maltin asked him, he's like, no. Actually, I'm awesome.
In fact, I'm awesome, and I will continue to be awesome.
I wrote one really, really long movie, and was just like, I guess I'll make it into 3, dude. I'm like, we see you wrote a 900-page script, and we're
Yeah.
like, this looks good.
Yeah, that's why you had Leia fucking plant a wet one on Luke here.
Twice.
Like, I mean, but
She kisses him twice in this movie.
just, it's so, like, wet.
That first one is very wet.
Yeah. He just got to have a Bacta tank, dude. He couldn't be fresher.
Yeah, all his lip skin is new.
God, does anybody else just want a Bacta tank, like, hangover remedy? Just, like, get off of work, go get fucking shit house. You got to go to work the next day, and you're like, I'm just going to fucking have 30 minutes in the Bacta.
This is turning into a Joe Rogan podcast talking about sensory deprivation chamber.
That's crazy, dude. Have you ever tried Bacta spray? Have you ever poured out a fucking line of Bacta on a mirror, taken a blow dryer so the Bacta actually crystallized and turns to a powder form, taken a razor blade, chopped it up, and then sniffed it? That's crazy, dude.
It heals you from the inside.
Trust me, I get my Bacta from the inside out. See, you're doing it the way they think they want you to do it, man. You're doing it the way the government's telling the empire wants you to bathe in it.
Because it's less efficient and they get more taxes when you buy more.
Don't ever compare
We
me to
just
Joe.
started our own conspiracy.
Don't ever compare me to Joe Rogan again, please.
Well, because like this Bacta tank is a big clear tube,
Uh-huh.
like the one that Zordon's hanging out in.
Yeah.
But the one that Timur Morrison's hanging out in is like a sensory deprivation chamber, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, I guess they kind of would be in general. Like there is talks of how it's a meditative state for you. So I
Okay.
mean, it's also as good, not good. It's storytelling plot.
My
device.
wife walked in during that scene and she's like, "Oh God!" He's like in his like whitey tighties looking, and he's just thrashing.
and he's actually in like liquid, so it's all distorted, and he looks all like weird and short and fat. Like
Yeah, oh yeah.
You,
He was
uh,
actually pretty buff in this movie, so he looks especially bad in that tank. Like,
Your guys' daughter or friend had given me a bunch of the playing cards, the Star
Oh,
Wars
yeah.
ones, and one is that scene. I was like, yeah, every little kid's collector's dream is fucking Luke Skywalker in a diaper in a fucking Bacta tank. I'll trade you 3 Darth Vaders for it.
So I guess you guys know what we're talking about, right? We're talking about The Empire Strikes Back from 1980. Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, George Lucas's Wet Dream, underscore.
Underscore
no
sequels
one
to
helped me
come.
with this. I wrote it all.
I wrote this whole movie, even
Except
though
this
it was
is-
actually written by Lawrence Kasdan and
some chick,
Lee
yeah.
Brackett,
Yeah.
who died, and then I changed all her ideas. So
Yeah.
yeah, so you know about that, right?
Yep,
She
that's
wrote
a dark part.
the first draft, and it's got a bunch of crazy shit in it. I've got some notes here about it.
Hit us.
So I looked up stuff she had written. There's not much I'd heard of. There's a movie called The Big Hit,
What?
like from the 50s, not the one we watched.
Bro,
50s or
gonna talk
60s.
about the big hit and not have me fucking join?
I wasn't
But-
even born yet.
I told you can't get rid of me. 57, I'll be there. I'll time travel.
I'm in Star Wars.
I'm
now.
going back to the future. Back to the future. You see what I'm saying? George, put me in a fucking movie.
I'm not wearing those whitey tighties though, bro.
We're going back to time.
Bro, I already wore tidy whities. Calvin Klein only. You know what I'm saying? Isn't that who he
Name
modeled
brand,
for?
and he's in the he's
right.
in the tube. and
I ain't
it's just
doing the
name
back
brand.
thing unless I got my Kleins.
Where it's all distorted. It just happens to magnify the Calvin Klein so they can get paid a little bit more.
I'm not going in unless I can stuff.
So her draft did contain a revelation about Luke's sister, which we don't get in this version. It's the next movie, except for her existence was disclosed to him by the ghost of Anakin Skywalker, who is still not Darth Vader in that version. And she is referred to as Nelith Skywalker, so it's not Leia. And apparently she is also a Jedi who was training in a whole other part of the galaxy, so that way she could join up to help defeat the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
Even
Even though the word Sith is not used in the entire original trilogy.
no,
Mm-mm.
then how did I know it? Oh no,
It's the first time we hear. Well, you would know it from books and comics, but besides
Phantom.
that, Phantom Menace is the first time we hear it on screen. When that's impossible. I didn't do the Chinese accent the Pneumonians do.
That's good.
Yeah, he was like, "That's impossible." Not for a Sith.
That's impossible.
It's impossible. We all fucking race of Harvey Firesteins. Oh my god, it's impossible. Oh, now there's 2 of them.
We have to do these trade negotiations.
But yes,
Robin.
like Sith is only really mentioned in like the
baby
expanded
brother.
universe at this point.
Okay, I feel
Which
like
at this
I've
point
always
there is
known
no
it.
expanded universe as of this coming out. I think there was like maybe
There was
some
like
ancillary
there was like
readings.
One book I referenced it on another episode. I think it came out in like 78 or something.
Okay.
But
the dramatization or the what
not
do you call
the
it? Novelization?
There was something else. I can't remember what it was called.
I know they were doing the visual dictionary and stuff like that. They were pushing out merch, but I don't think anybody had written any stories yet, or at least George wouldn't let them because he didn't know what he was doing.
Funny story. Speaking of novelizations, the big twist at the end of this that everybody knows now was like super secret. I got a story about it later. Only a few people even knew it. Not even the people acting on the
screen. They had
screen.
James Earl Jones do like 11 takes or something, like different lines is what I heard.
I didn't see that part, but there was only 5 people who knew about the twist.
Okay.
Before the movie came out. But the novelization of this book came out this movie came out a month before the movie and had no qualms about letting everybody know. So, that's what you get for being a nerd and reading books.
I was going to say, nobody was reading books back then, dude.
It was the 70s. All people had to do was read books.
No, Star Wars just came out. Books were being burnt at alarming rates.
Just like now.
Did you read that she had quite a love triangle amongst Han and Leia and Luke?
Like in real life?
No. Well, yeah. They were partying with the Rolling Stones on set, I heard. So
I did read that.
But no, so she'd written just a much more that they had, what I don't think it was a 3-way scenario, but they were obviously both in love with her, and she was kind of returning the love of both of them in
well, because we talked about it you weren't on the recording for New Hope, but we talked about how George was setting it up. Does she go with the fucking farmer that's kind of abandoned royalty, kind of, as it were, the good guy, the shining armor? Or do I go with the fucking scoundrel who's really bad for me but gives me feelings in my bits? And that's like the whole back and forth. And I think he was continuing it here. Like when I said that, well, we'll get to the scene. All right.
Well, in this movie, she just kind of takes advantage of Luke to make Han jealous.
Mm-hmm.
But she's all up on that.
I've been that guy before, dude, as long as I'm getting good work.
But so this is directed by Irving Kershner, not George Lucas, who passed away in 2010. So rest in pictures. He didn't direct a lot.
He tried to get Irving Kershner back on another project, whether it was
Kershner.
I think it was. We talked about it either episode 1 or 2 or 3. He wanted him back for the prequels.
Okay.
And he's like, "No, you have to tell this story because you're the guy that has a notebook of everything written down that's going to happen."
Well, he did not have a great relationship with Irving Kershner, or I think it's Paul Kurtz or Katz or something is one of the producers. And this is the last time they all worked together.
Right, Gary Kurtz.
Because he was pissing him off by like micromanaging, but they were also going way over budget, and he was taking all the money out of his own pocket and a giant bank loan that he took out. So.
I mean, we're talking about like him not doing big budget.
Yeah, I mean, I saw 18 million for a budget, but then I read another thing that said 30. Yeah. So I think maybe it was 18 out of his pocket, and then he got a loan also, because I read he got a big loan too.
Okay.
Yeah, either Fox loaned him or Fox helped him.
Well, he got a bank loan first, and then when it started going over budget, he went to Fox to help pay for some stuff, but he like maintained it being independent.
And someone, I guess, did him a nice deal at Fox, and they were like, okay, you can keep the merchandising deal for this and this and that. They took a bigger cut, obviously, but they gave him some sort of. They were
and
like,
something happened, and that guy got screwed, and so he left Fox and went to Paramount, and then that's where Raiders ended up. Okay, surprise. So, but yeah, we'll play the box office game.
So budget was 18, then 18, up to 30.
18 to 30-ish. It was the highest grossing movie of 1980.
Duh.
I think I saw some of these figures, but I know around the area. Yeah.
I'll say 280 mil.
US like 180 or 200, and then bigger national.
I only got the worldwide.
400.
550.
Fucking hell.
So maybe less than A New Hope, because like I said, those other numbers I found were like, I wasn't 100% sure if that was like just the one run.
Well, and what's funny is this is, okay, so elephant in the room, this is almost everybody's favorite Star Wars movie, especially original trilogy, right? Like everybody I talk to is like Empire.
Yeah.
It was not received well in the theaters as well.
No, it had terrible reviews
because it was dark. It was here we are talking about George Lucas was making Star Wars for kids, and now you've got the heroes on the ropes. Vader wins in this movie.
Yeah,
like it's not the normal Star Wars cheery as much happy score. It's like it's fucking tension for a little kid.
That's one of the things George Lucas said in that interview that did sound true. Was he's like, yeah, it's darker because it's the second act of a 3-act play. Because at this point, he did know he was going to make another one.
Yeah, I
don't think he had it written the way he said. I mean, there's even a book. I didn't get the title of it, but it was like it's like a book of the original scripts and stuff. And in there, it's called Episode 2. So it was never
Okay.
4, 5, 6.
Yeah,
until
Mace
later.
Windu was gonna be I think the Obi-Wan character. It was like a general named Mace Windu, and the Force was called the Bogan, and
You've told me about that before.
yeah,
the
it just
Bogan.
yeah.
The
the
Bogan,
the-
Bogan be with you.
Follow the Bogan. Use the Bogan, Luke.
Did he tell me to use a toboggan?
All right, I mean,
I'm doing this trench run in an X-wing, but I guess I'm going to jump into a toboggan. But yeah, in the interview, that's what I'm going to call it, because it just
Sure.
seemed like he was giving bullshit answers. That was the only that, and one other thing he said, which was he was talking about number one being more like about the innovating new visual effects, and number two being about refining it, but also we know what I mean. 4, 5.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
This one being more of a stop motion movie because they could afford to do it and they had the time to do it.
And we do get
And there's
some
a
good
lot more
stop motion.
Yeah,
The Tauntauns for sure.
the walkers,
Exogorth.
The amount of money that went
Is that,
to ILM,
is that the
though,
worm?
Yeah.
All right.
the amount of money that went to ILM, it's pretty funny that, George Lucas is financing this, but I could have sworn it was like 11 million or something went to ILM. So I mean, there's some weirdness going on here. It's going to another one of your companies.
He's like, look, I will pay for this. I'm gonna pay me,
yeah, I'm gonna pay me and my crew,
You know what it went to?
but I
Remember
gotta
we
pay me
watched-
back.
but
man.
he's also got to pay taxes on paying himself.
Go
so-
back and listen to the holiday special. Don't watch it. Or do. One of those original commercials was a vineyard right by Skywalker Ranch. He used his money to fund his friend's vineyard and then gets points on the bottles sold. That's what's happening. You, by the way, would love those old commercials.
Something that I read when them talking about that this kind of set up future trilogies in the movie franchise business, where they were like the second one became the one with an unresolved conflict
Yeah.
and it being darker, setting up the heroes that come back in 3.
Well,
So
what
one
year was
they-
Godfather 2?
And did that
Not
come full
too-
circle like
not
that?
too
But,
far.
Yeah, maybe not. But had listed when I was reading, they had listed about 4 or 5 good trilogy franchises that do the same thing, and they all pretty much came after
Yeah.
this one.
I mean, Godfather 2 is kind of a bad example because 3 was not
Yeah, I wish I
planned
could
out.
Remember right now. Not
Godfather
Rocky,
2 was
but,
1974.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So I can't remember the trilogies they were talking about, but there was 4 or 5 that they said.
One of the reasons I think people like this more, though, is one of the things Irving Kershner was talking about was that he wasn't interested in doing a special effects movie. Like the other movies that he did, like he directed, or no, it wasn't Irving Kershner. It was Lawrence Kasdan, I think, who was talking about it. He's the writer.
Yeah.
He's also directed some movies. This was the first thing he wrote, by the way. But the other stuff he wrote
Well
and
done.
directed is like he wrote and directed Body Heat, The Big Chill, Wyatt Earp. He wrote The Bodyguard.
Wyatt Earp, Kevin Costner?
Yeah.
Okay.
He did a lot
He
of
wrote
good
The
stuff.
Bodyguard, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Return of the Jedi, and Solo. But him and Irving Kershner were more wanting to do like a character-driven thing. And so this focused on characters, which was something that George Lucas had been criticized for in the first one. The characters didn't feel like three-dimensional characters
They aren't.
because, surprise, we've talked about it, George Lucas doesn't know what human beings
The
are.
reason those characters work is because of what the actors put into them, not because of the script that they were given.
Well, and I think that's part of the reason, though, that this is one of the favorites. It's not just like, oh, it's the dark one, oh, it's the whatever. It's the first one is good and it sets all the stuff up. This one turns everybody into people, gives them internal lives and problems and backgrounds and like
Yeah. I mean,
plus
right
you
off
get
the bat,
Lando.
oh God, yes we do. But right off the bat, we get Leia and Han doing more in this like upcoming scene than ever.
Yeah. There's a fun thing. So it starts with our classic scroll. And at this time, movies, if you watch older movies, you know, had all the credits up front.
Yeah, didn't he leave the guild for
Well,
this?
Yeah, so the first one, the Writers Guild and the Producers Guild and whoever else, whatever guilds that were pissed off, they gave him permission to do it
The Lollipop
because
Guild.
they gave him permission because they were like,
Gilded Radners.
nobody gives a shit about this movie. Like, it's just some little thing that's going to disappear. So sure, do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was the biggest movie that almost ever existed.
Who
So-
told him? Hey, which one of you guys gave him permission to not put the credits up there?
Well, so
He
the
said it was going
second
to be
one,
not a big deal.
they were like, you have to do the credits up front because that's giving all the people their credit up front, which is a good thing. And he was furious about it. He's like, no. And so like eventually, so he just did it.
You can't tell me
basically.
what to do, bitch.
And then he ended up leaving the guilds, all of them. I think I have it here. Writers Guild, Directors Guild, and the Motion Picture Association of America. which also has to do with why he hires almost exclusively non-union workers. Not just because he's cheap.
That's the start of it.
He did a couple of cool things. So in that case, they fined George Lucas for not putting the credits up front, and they fined Irving Kershner. But George Lucas paid both the fines, which is about $250,000. And then also with the profits he got from...
If you can just cut this watch in half, you can have the fine right there.
The profits he got from like the merch and like all that stuff from keeping this independent, he turned around and shared about $5 million in bonuses with employees.
Good man.
So
it's a good maneuver for a robot.
Yeah, that's some cool stuff. And then just real quick, I'm gonna mention one more fun fact I found that's stupid.
Was it stupid or fun?
In Italy, Darth Vader's name was changed to Lord Fenner because the word Vader in Italian sounds like the Italian word for toilet.
Darth John. Dark Lord Urinal.
Lord Toilet. My
Lord Urinal.
The farts are strong with you.
The flush is strong with this one. Have to be in Italy.
Use the flush, Luke.
No, I'm your farter.
Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your farter.
No, that's impassable.
No.
Oh, that's good.
All right. So we're on Hoth.
We're adults. I just had a 10-minute fart segment.
The E is for excrement. So we're on Hoth. And we've got these little probe droids doing their little... And like, obviously, as we talked about with the last episode, all this stuff is ingrained in my brain from watching this movie 10 million times.
Ingrained in my brain.
Like, I probably watched the other one 200 times. I probably watched this one 300 times.
Yeah.
And once you've seen it enough, you're like, I don't gotta watch them all.
Yeah.
But also, I'm pretty sure this exact noise was used repeatedly in the Shadows of the Empire game.
For what systems? That Super?
I played it on PC. It was the one with Dash Rendar.
Yes.
Fake Han
This
Solo.
noise is used in that game.
And it's used a lot. All the droids are pretty much making that noise because it's a cheap PC game from the late 90s. So you're just going through just like... Yep. So I'm just sitting there playing the game, making noise to myself.
There were a lot of sound bites for this movie licensed out because I had like a Windows package that like your start noise, everything you clicked would be something from this, and like what is thy bidding, my master would be like one, and like every different thing, and most of them were from.
When you turn on your computer, does it go? Ba, 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 ba,
Yeah, I think that might have been the start, dude. It was
the Windows logo just goes scrolling by.
Oh, that's cool. Or just a lightsaber like igniting.
It's just Sith Lord Bill Gates coming up, like, glowing red.
I mean, he would be because he's so unassuming.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he doesn't look that different than this version of the Emperor.
Yeah, well, he's like all philanthropic, you think? No, buddy. No.
So yeah, we have the probe droids and Luke and Halon.
Halon. Sorry,
Luke
he saw his
and
friend Lon. Lon just came in. Hey, Lon.
Han are out looking around for signs of life. We're in this place where there clearly can't
Not
be
enough
any.
life. There's not enough life on this ice cube to fill a starship. Starship's kind of big, buddy.
And I just love though that they're like there couldn't possibly be anything living here, and they're just in Norway.
Even though these Tauntauns
Like,
are
literally.
native.
Huh?
Tauntauns are native.
Yeah, they're
Are they?
from Norway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Tauntauns, yeah.
They're from Norway. It's actually Norwegian for ride.
the scene where Luke is stumbling around after he escapes from the Wampa. They were apparently snowed in at their hotel, and Irving Kershner was like, well, we're not wasting a whole day of shooting. So they just sent Luke out into the storm, and they filmed from inside the hotel lobby.
Just motherfucker.
Some of them
I
do
am
look
so
a little
fucking
hazy,
cold.
like they're shot through glass. So this makes sense, dude. It's not just frozen lenses.
They're
that
just
are doing
sitting
this.
there with fucking coffee and hot cocoa. One more take. We didn't quite get it. Ooh, almost too hot. I think I burnt my lips.
I'm gonna put my cup outside.
Actually, can you take off my extra pair of gloves? My feet are sweaty too. Another log for the fire, please, there, Carrie Fisher. Thank you.
Can't we do this on a soundstage? No.
No. Needs authenticity.
So yeah, Luke gets taken by this Wampa. It's always hard because I've just got done
Wampa.
editing A New Hope. And we said Womp Rat a lot of times, so I keep wanting to say Womp Rat.
I used to target
Wampa.
those in my T16 Skyhopper.
Not nearly whiny enough. I used to target those in my little fucking brat. I love it still. But just watching that, I mean, you know the famous I was gonna go to the Toshi station and pick up some power converters.
Last night when I put on number 1 again, number 4.
The first
when
one.
I put on A New Hope again.
There it is.
Before I decided to switch to just the score track I told you guys I was watching. I got about that far, and he's like, I was going to go. And I was like, doesn't this have an isolated score? Oh, it does.
Yeah. Look at that.
Check out the cinematography of this one.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to say this. I'm probably going to put a video online, too. If you guys already listened to or watched our last episode, and I was like, the score here isn't as good as I remembered, I was right when I said it's just too much ingrained in the film.
Yeah.
Because I watched it with the isolated score, and there are long swaths of no music, which might be part of it because there's a lot more music in this.
But you
one.
are saying your original statement was that episode 5 Empire does not have as strong of a score as New Hope.
No. My original statement was when we did New Hope, I was like, the score on New Hope just wasn't as good as I remembered.
Gotcha.
Not as good as some of the later John Williams work and stuff. But I was wrong. It's just too much ingrained in watching the movie and part of the story that I don't even notice it. When I was watching it with just the score,
You're kind of
Yeah.
spoiled.
just all those little like things
Yeah.
going on, I was like, this is fucking brilliant. So I'm wrong.
It really does set the mood.
And I wanted to say that right out front.
Hey,
And so many of the
own your-
classic
own your mistakes,
themes,
Ed.
so many of the classic, the Darth theme and the
Yeah.
Imperial March, and just everything. You're like, this is fucking badass.
Yeah.
But so Han has to leave to go pay off Jabba the Hutt. And I love that this one general is just so cavalier about it. I guess they've got a lot of criminals working for them probably.
Yeah.
But he's just like,
And
Death
they
Mark's
got-
not an
they-
easy thing to live with.
They got that Andor.
Yeah. Had.
Look what built this fucking rebellion was Andor and all these other fucking degenerates.
But yeah, there's just a cavalier way of being like, having a price on your head's pretty rough. So,
Yeah.
I know.
Trust me. You have what's the price in your head? You have the Huts that are looking for you.
You've heard of slavers,
Have you
right?
heard of
that
Darth
was,
Toilet?
That was me before the Empire took, and I was like, I can't do this anymore.
I got Darth Toilet on my tail.
So he has this
Emperor
awkward goodbye
Poopenstein.
with Leia, and this is when we start getting there, like, because there was a little flirting in the first one, but this one is where it's like it's just laid on.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, she says something about like, yeah, sure, whatever, you're gonna fucking leave, and he's like, well, don't get all mushy on me, princess. Like she's like, yeah, he's hot, cool,
Yeah.
but he's the one that's already like, should you say bye?
He needs her to beg him to stay.
Yeah.
And use your body if you could.
And she is a strong, independent woman and don't need no man.
She's a princess, dude. She's got concubines and other things. A harem of men.
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
I don't know. Alderaan didn't seem like the harem type of planet.
Nah, not like the first look at it. It's like our Washington.
Those underground circles, though.
Yeah, those underground circles, man.
Oh, like in that pizza place?
What?
The basement of that pizza place?
Little Fight Club.
Sorry. Just making real world jokes in Star Wars land. I do like when she tells him, he's like, give me a kiss for good luck or whatever. And she's like, yeah, I'd rather kiss a Wookiee.
That can be arranged. He's due for a good kiss anyway. Just yelling.
Does he say he's due or you're due?
Oh, I thought it said
I'm not sure.
I thought he said he, but
That's what I thought when I was younger. Then when I was watching it today, I didn't hear and I didn't want to rewind because I was
Okay.
already running a little late. So
Yeah, either way, it's funny.
So she doesn't have harem men; she has hairy men. Wookiees.
Get me my harem then.
But of course, what stops Han from leaving is Luke isn't back yet. It's getting dark. So he's got to go out and find him. And I mean, no complaint, but they do set up that like it's going to be really hard to survive out there if you go out there. It's getting dark. And then it just like cuts to morning and they're fine. I mean, I know he's got to put him inside of an animal.
Right.
Then he builds a shelter, but like they made it seem really hard. I mean, we don't need the extra 15-minute scene of them struggling through the night.
No.
But it was just a weird.
I do like when he's leaving though. The guy's like, if you go out there, you're gonna die. And he's like, I'll see you in hell. Like, what?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
then I'll
like,
see
whoa.
you in hell.
I was just trying to be nice and warn you. You see this? I'm calling my fucking HR rep. I'm trying to warn you not to go out there. You're not well dressed. You know what? I will see you in hell. Fuck you, Han.
Wait, why am I going to hell?
Why? Yeah.
Shit.
Oh, wait, we're both going to hell? Are we the baddies?
You're
Is the
murdering
Rebel
people.
Alliance the bad guys?
You're murdering people.
Ah, Luke did most of that.
No, they're in the
murdering.
white. They're in white, dude. They're good.
Yeah.
Like, they're white.
They're white. It's fine to shoot white people.
I guess that's fine. That's true. I mean, Luke did kill like what 1.7 million.
Yeah,
people?
we'll say 1.5 million.
Yeah.
It's a
And
lot.
then he's gonna kill a couple more soon. So
Yeah.
a couple million more.
Well, no, the next Death Star is on Lando.
Oh yeah, it is. That's right.
Yeah.
'Cause
And we
he goes
forgive
in-
him.
He
We
goes in and does that Star Fox.
We already
thing.
forgave him.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about, right? When he flies around the engine from Star Fox and you shoot it.
I don't remember Star Fox.
You should,
Why?
because it's awesome.
Was it?
Yeah.
Do you
I've got a
remember
little Star Fox thing right up there next to my mouse droid you gave me.
which?
I have the game at home on an emulator.
Yeah, play it.
Stop the podcast. Let's go.
What was maybe it was the first N64 Star Wars game? Was it just
Yeah,
Empire
Star
Strikes?
Fox 64.
No, Star Wars.
Star
Oh,
Wars.
you said Star
sorry.
Fox.
So, oh, did I?
I didn't hear
Okay.
Star Fox.
Sorry.
I thought I heard
Star Wars.
Fox.
Okay,
Cut it.
well,
Yes, cut it.
You got Star Fox in the brain.
Anyways, there was
do.
a Star Wars one where you wrapped up the AT-ATs, and it was fucking cool. It was the first time you ever
Oh,
got
yeah.
to do that in a game, and I think it was on N64, and it was so
I
badass.
don't remember.
But you're flying around as one of the rogue dudes, and you're
Yeah. The
and
fuck
you're wrapping
game
up
was
the
that?
legs, and it was great.
Dude,
man.
real talk
They've
though.
done it a couple times after.
Pod
but
racing was one of the best Star Wars games to ever come out.
That game rocked.
Yeah, pod racing was fire.
I don't remember that one, but I bet it was badass.
I have it.
It
at my
was
house.
fucking
Phantom
great.
Menace
I
based,
because
yeah.
I remember being like, this game's gonna be stupid because that movie was stupid. And then I played it and I'm like, this game rocks.
Yeah.
It made
Now
that,
this
it made that
is pod
scene cool.
racing.
Yeah, now this is pod racing.
I didn't think he has a lisp. I just always do it. Now this is pod racing.
Have
we got a podcast for you?
Bad movies, worse people.
I mean, look, you like getting a couple beers in you, watching a bad movie, and yucking it up with your friends. That's what we're doing. We have microphones.
We have great impersonations. We have bad impersonations.
I think it might be one of the best podcasts I've ever heard.
It's the best podcast I've ever heard, fellas, and I ain't lying through my giant teeth. There's a sample.
Yes.
You can find us anywhere. Badmoviesworsepeople.com. Come check us out.
If you don't follow us, we will follow you home.
Hey guys, I don't want to sound needy here.
I'm
or anything,
needy.
but we have a Patreon at patreon.com/worsepeople.
Mm-hmm.
And it only costs $3 a month.
$3 a month is nothing.
And I know times are hard right now.
Real hard for me.
Inflation's up.
Oh.
You can't afford your groceries.
Can't eat.
But you can afford $3 a month if you love us.
Give us $3.
Super love us.
Please
Yeah.
love us.
We're not begging.
I'm begging.
We're not pleading.
I'm pleading.
We're not down on our knees.
Oh boy,
I mean-
my knees hurt. They've been on so long.
But we do kind of need the money.
I need the money bad.
We need new equipment.
New equipment. We need to do remote podcasts for all of you.
I wouldn't mind eating.
We need to have video.
I wouldn't mind eating.
We need more drinks.
Food sounds good.
So please check out patreon.com/worsepeople.
Please check us out.
You get a bonus episode every month, and we're going to have more content coming for you.
I'll send you pictures.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much. Please give me more.
Patreon.com/worsepeople.
I'm being held hostage here. If I don't pay my way out of here, they're going to kill me.
But I like Han's trying to like get all his shit together right before he leaves, and C-3PO keeps trying to talk to him, and he's like, "Can I inquire what's going on?" He's like, "Yeah, why not?
Sure.
Move on."
Yeah.
I just like people being assholes to C-3PO.
I mean,
He's the sad.
He never
sack.
has attitude, really. Like something maybe a little quirk.
he has attitude towards robots.
Yeah.
Towards other droids. He's never has attitude toward, well, not never. Usually doesn't have attitude towards people. Like the most, like, I beg your pardon.
I guess as an interpreter droid, you're dealing with
He's protocol droid.
humanoids.
He knows all
and
about
life
protocol.
forms. more.
Yeah.
He
6
knows
million
which fork
languages.
goes next to which fork and all that.
Even though I'd never get served.
So Luke escapes from the Wampa cave with his using his force pull to get his lightsaber, which not surprisingly, but it's just fun because I read it. They just did it by him throwing it
Yeah.
and then reversing it. And I was trying to watch, but they cut before you see his hand. Like when it comes back to him, they don't show because it looks like he just goes like this.
I don't remember exactly what
There's
it
no
was.
way he could have thrown it. Like
There's a flub here where you can see a part where it says like made in Michigan on the lightsaber. So made in somewhere. I can't remember the exact flub, but it's
well,
one
Michigan
of those things.
is planet.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, it's where they make RoboCop.
It's actually pronounced Michigan.
on the planet of Michigan.
Michigan 4.
When I wrote Andor, I had him from Michigan.
It's shaped like a fucking mitt with 2 thumbs. What part of the galaxy of Michigan are you from? The second thumb?
Right here. But so yeah, they get locked out overnight. Chewie's crying about it. The odds are 725 to 1 that they'll survive. But R2's wrong sometimes.
Remember the last time we left him, he was shot in the head.
That's fair.
He's doing okay for a fucking brain shot survivor, I think.
He gets electrocuted in this one too. Pretty severely. But like this is the first time we see the Force Ghost, right? We only heard it
Yes.
in the other movie.
Correct.
And Alec Guinness, so they didn't know while they were filming if Alec Guinness was going to come back and do it because he was not happy with being in the
That's
first
where that
one.
rest of that big loan came from.
So he agreed to do it. He worked for one day from 8:30 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Good God.
and was paid 0.25 percentage point of the movie's gross, which is about $1 million.
Damn. Good setup, Alec. Dang.
I mean, because there's no way he was getting $1 million for a day.
A 4-hour shift.
He wasn't going to get $1 million for filming whatever George wanted to film.
Yeah.
Not back then. So,
And I mean, we see him twice, but we hear him a few other times. So he did a few on camera and a few just into a microphone.
yeah.
Called it a day.
Can we do another take? It's 1:30. I'm done. Alec is off the set. He is in his car. He is driving. The helicopter's taking off. He's mooning us out of the helicopter. Okay, that's a wrap on Alec Guinness.
They paid the same amount that they paid Ewan for an entire season.
He put the robes on. He did the scenes, and they're like, "Oh, we need a couple more." And he's like, "Robes are already off. I'll do it voice only."
It's too late. I already have my slippies on.
They're like, "You get a 0.5 percentage point." He's like, "Well, the robes are off." They're like, "We'll give you a 1/4." He's like, "Fine. Do I get to leave?"
Yeah.
Goodbye there.
Goodbye there.
But yes, the ghost.
I have not found the fuck you are looking for.
The ghost of Alec Guinness tells Mark Hamill that he has to go to a swamp to talk to a puppet.
Mm-hmm.
I will describe it as ridiculously as I can.
Do you remember what it was, or do you even know what it was going to be? What it was going to be instead of Yoda, the name?
Bogan.
You've probably heard it before. What did you say?
Bogan.
Minch.
George is like,
And
oh,
that
it was
the
Minch
ch- and
Yoda.
that
I
was the
read that.
chick-
It was both
Yeah.
together.
The lady who'd wrote it, she named him that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And had like a different look, a little bit more of like a savage kind of mohawk, a little more warrior, a little less decrepit, like still looking old, but Yoda's actually old here.
Yeah,
You know,
And
when
we'll
he
talk
does, when
about
he
it we
lifts
get there,
the,
but
when-
he's losing it. He's going Joe Biden on us a little bit here, but
you got trust in the Force. Or the hell am I?
I know
Oh,
Yoda.
man.
I know Joe Biden. I met him.
Man.
I could take you to him.
If you
But
can
first,
give
we
me-
got to eat ice cream.
If you can give me some of that root stew, sound like it'll perk me up pretty nice.
The fuck you eating this? What is this, a granola bar? I'm gonna
When,
take you back. We're gonna eat stew. I think this stew has a boot in it.
When 900 days old you are, you're 900 years. Oh, damn. That's a lot. I thought it was only 8. Dog. I got to go to bed. Sleepy Joe.
I've been a
Sleepy
politician.
Joda.
I've been training politicians for 800 years.
I've been bribing politicians for 800 years.
But like, this is not something that they address. I don't think at any point in any of the stuff they've done to fill in the errors between this and what. he
There's no
ended up
errors.
doing.
This is Star Wars. There's zero discrepancies.
So when Obi-Wan says you have to go train with Yoda, the Jedi Master who trained me,
Yeah.
is it like
He's trained a lot of people.
when you say like you studied under such and such sensei, but like he just owned the dojo, but you actually trained with a different sensei?
Yes, I also think he's like the not the beginners or he is the. We see him Yoda training all the younglings in episode 1.
Oh, okay.
So he trains all the younglings until you become
Until you-
someone's Padawan.
Okay. All right.
So,
That's
like I
fair.
said, no flaws.
All right.
He wrote it all down in his little book.
But yeah, so we get Han trying to, he rescues Luke, cuts open that tauntaun and stuffs him in there like Hugh Glass.
It's cool intestines, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hugh Glass.
Is
Nice.
The bear.
Yeah.
That's
Is that Revenant or
the
different?
Revenant.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
The Revenant and also real life.
Yeah, mostly real life where it's more terrifying.
But they're found by Rogue 2, not Rogue 1.
Yeah, and everyone said Rogue One was just a fucking nothing movie. It's set up why this guy's called Rogue 2.
Exactly. Because we don't have another Rogue One. We have a Rogue Leader.
Yeah.
And then we have Rogue 2 and Rogue 3.
Rogue One, they retired that jersey.
Yeah, they put the respect on Rogue One.
They've retired that jersey in the rafters.
They're like, that one helped us defeat the Empire, even though we still got this whole movie in another one.
It helped us defeat the Empire, kinda.
We thought we won. Look, we got rid of Peter Cushing, and that's what we really wanted.
Yeah.
He was expensive.
I mean, but it did shake up the Empire's doctrine a little bit. Like, that's why they have the ships that they use, like the walkers, the big fucking star destroyers, even the Death Star. The Tarkin doctrine was to be big and impressive and scary and overwhelming force, a show of overwhelming force, what he always wanted. Which, I mean, I think Luthen Rail had the opposite reaction. He's like, no, you do that, and you're gonna make people. He knew it was the wrong thing to do.
Well, they talk about it in Andor about like if you squeeze too tight, it makes things slip.
But
through your
Moff
fingers
Tarkin's
or
arrogance was just like, nah, we'll just kill all of them.
Well, and it keeps going. I mean, obviously this thing already existed, but we see the Super Star Destroyer, the Executor.
Yeah.
Ha.
That's Vader's personal.
We see that one though, and you thought the Star Destroyers were big. I thought those were big on the outside.
Dude, just make more of these Super Star Destroyers. You don't need a Death Star.
So it's all lumpy in the middle, right?
Yeah.
And it's all smooth on the outside. Is it just basically like a flying city?
Yep.
Okay, that's what I figured watching it, just looking at it.
Yeah.
I figured you'd know.
I don't know like exactly what's on that. Like, I'm not that in depth in it, but it was meant to be Vader's moving city. Like, he has everything he needs there. Concubine.
You have to make it bigger. I need another McDonald's.
Yeah, it's sort of like the
I need
Wall-E.
2 Denny's so I can say I don't want to go to that one. Let's go to the good Denny's.
good Denny's.
It's like the Wall-E floating world, and just there's shrubbery and fucking everything
shrubbery?
you need in there.
Kinda.
Two Walmarts, 2 Costcos.
I mean, think about it though. Especially if you're gonna be out there and not refueling, and like you need a way to sustain yourself.
Yeah.
You gotta be growing your own food. You probably have some livestock. Vader's eating meat.
Well, and we talked about how they have that thing that can turn any matter into energy. He needs more people on board, so there can be more shit to turn into energy.
Yeah.
They got to make some of that liquid that you drink out of a tube. So
Why do you think they call him Darth Toilet?
Yeah.
Speaking of shrubberies, by the way, I read a thing about apparently Carrie Fisher was staying at like Eric Idle's house. Eric Idle from Monty Python.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, what tied into what you were saying earlier about them going to her and Harrison Ford going to a party with the Rolling Stones and just getting all fucked up on something they called like Tunisian table wax or something like that. Like it was a nickname they gave this insanely strong liquor they were all drinking. And that's like apparently that was the night before they did the Cloud City stuff. And they're like, so that might be why Han and Leia look a little happier than usual.
That's awesome. That's a story I didn't know.
Yeah, and it might have been hallucinogenic because I had read that there was just evidence of her doing a good amount of hallucinogens during it, and maybe it was just that drink. Maybe it was just the Stones Tunisian table wine.
Huh.
It probably had heroin in it.
We're gonna have to find this recipe.
Mhm.
I made a bunch of vodka infused with Vicodin once.
That's probably similar.
Vodkadin. And then we did the mushroom.
We did do the mushroom.
So we've done some hallucinogenic table wine before.
There used to be, I mean, the brewery still exists, but the guy's not there anymore. There was a local brewery, but before he was a real like a professional brewer, when he was a home brewer, he would make like mushroom infused beers, but not like with edible mushrooms, if you know what I mean.
Right.
And
Not
he'd bring
culinary.
he'd bring those to parties.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
We had the pleasure of a major brewery doing us a mushroom one. Yeah, we won't say who, but it was pretty fucking awesome.
But we have the only scene in the movie where our entire hero squad is together right here. It's when Luke is recovering in the hospital.
Oh, that sweet, sexy scene for the ladies.
Yeah. But like this is the only time that Luke, Leia, Han, Chewie, and both droids are all in the room together at any point in time in this whole movie. Because Luke spends
Crazy.
most
Yeah,
of the
he's-
movie away.
And then when he's back, Han is gone.
Yeah.
Be
Han
Han till
gone.
November.
Yeah. He's Han girl.
He's going Han.
But this is like all this creative cursing. She's like, I don't know where Leia to Han. She's like, I don't know where you're getting your delusions, laser brain.
I love laser brain.
And then you stuck up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder.
Who's scruffy looking?
That's like yelling at somebody and calling them like, a fat, ugly racist, and they're like, "Who's fat?"
Yeah, that's the part you took contention with. Then somebody had written a comic that he and Chewie transported Nerfs, so he is a Nerf herder. Like somebody put that in the comic just so they can make that line a little cooler.
And this is where Leia lays one on Luke, big sloppy one.
Yeah,
And
it's
I was
open
like,
mouth and open handed.
and I'm sitting here like, stupid Mark Hamill.
I'm more into
making out with Carrie
I'm more
Fisher.
into stepbrother stuff.
I don't care
This
that
is a
it's-
little far for me.
Like if Carrie Fisher
Oh no, I'm
was,
stuck in the bacta tank. Come help me, stepbrother.
if Carrie Fisher was my sister, I wouldn't kiss her. It's a song. If Carrie Fisher was my sister, I would not.
Oh, I
kiss
was like,
I'd
that's
fist
her. I wouldn't kiss her. I'd fist her.
There was someone who commented, I don't know if it was Gary Kurtz or someone, they were like, if Mark Hamill would have been in the back to tank earlier, we probably would have lost him. A mirror shattered and huge shards of the mirror went into the
Oh
tank.
wow.
And they were like, it might have killed him.
So what you're saying is
Ooh.
Tony Todd as Death from the Final Destination series was after
uh-huh.
Mark Hamill because he survived that car accident.
Yep.
Dude, there was a lot. Did you hear how much he got hurt in this movie?
I know that in this upcoming scene, he broke his thumb when he's jumping out of the speeder that crashes. It's also the same day his son was born.
Yeah, and they called him back on set. But so there was another one. I think this was on the wiki, so I tend to believe it, but I don't know for sure. They said this was on Wikipedia. No, I don't know what it was on, but I think it was Wiki. They said he slipped off a 9-inch ledge, so they just had him on a 9-inch ledge. Fell
How
40
Star
feet,
Wars of them.
fell 40 feet and rolled and didn't get hurt. And this was on the Wikipedia. I was like, so he supposedly fell 40 feet. But
got
he
up
just
and he's
rolled like a
"Whew,
stunt man.
the
Like,
force
Yeah.
is with me.
if I fall
Yeah.
12 feet, I'm breaking everything. Like 40 feet, dude.
Well, I was just
His
telling
butt broke his fall. The farts are with me.
I was just telling
I went with
Jack
He was
farts.
using the bogan, dude. Like,
I was just telling Jack about this movie I was watching, this Hong Kong movie I was watching, and you watch them, no cuts, throw this dude off like a 3-story building off the roof, so it's higher than the 30 feet of the 3 stories, just straight to the ground. And maybe they had a pile of soft dirt, but there's nothing. It's you just watch him fly from the roof and hit the ground, and then right after that, a dude does a backflip off a 2-story building, lands, and's like, "Let's go."
How's your leg? I think it's bogan. Sorry, I was
So-
waiting for your story to get over so I could say that.
People can do it.
I only do a movie every 3 years, but I jump off a roof. Sorry.
It's like the Daniel Day-Lewis of stunts.
I'm gonna pull a Jack here. We've got the 21B surgical droid. Is that right?
Yeah.
There you go.
The one with the
Nice.
microphone?
Yep.
one with the
Yeah,
fucking
the one
old
that looks
school-
like maybe he's a wrestler, but he's only got half a body now. Like he was a wrestler.
Ready to rumble.
'Cause he looks buff. Like I'm like, this is your Doctor Droid.
Wait, no, I thought the Dr. Droid wasn't the buff one.
It's like you only see him like for a second. But then you see that he's only like he's a stick with a top half, but the top half looks pretty. The shoulders are really
So not
broad
the
and-
microphone one.
Yeah, I think he's got a microphone mouth.
The
I don't know. He's the
microphone
one. He's
had
the
a
one
real
healing.
Has real
think
thin
that's him.
arms.
He's the one that tells. I'm just talking about like the torso
Oh,
part. He's got
okay.
like broad shoulders and like a big, like it looks like he has a big neck and a big head and broad shoulders, but
Yeah.
then he's like a stick underneath. So like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay.
Derrick thought this thing was trying to punk him. He was like, well, man, this guy's intimidating over here.
Like
But he's
I
up, he's
read
up.
I read a thing on StarWars.com that was talking about this guy, and it was like apparently the one later on at the end of the movie is the same one because Luke was like, I want that guy.
Yeah.
He's very friendly.
He's really good. When he checks your butt, he uses the small finger. That's my guy.
He doesn't use that weird drill thing that other one was using.
I do not send a probe droid. I'm good.
Speaking of probe droids, I love when Han and Chewie are going out to look for this because the probe droid finds their thing, and Chewie does like they do like the Velociraptor flank. Like Chewie jumps up and he's
Clever
just
Wookiee.
over here.
Yeah.
But you can't get me. Oh. Got him.
Also, I know Chewie is hairy, but this is supposed to be very, very cold. Give that Wookiee a jacket.
He's fine.
I don't know, man. If I took my dog to the Arctic Circle, I'd probably wrap her up in something.
Your dog's not a Wookiee.
She's pretty hairy.
Yeah, but Wookiees probably have a really tough skin.
They're from like a tropical planet.
They need tough skin.
All right, fair.
They also, you think you just have a Wookiee-sized jacket lying around?
They could make him a jacket.
Probably could.
He's a very important part of the rebellion.
They're like, we've got this Wookiee jacket here. Never mind. It's
I-
Wookiee.
We've got this Wookiee jacket. It's made from not Wookiee. It's made from Wampa,
Well, yeah. What is that? Wookie, Wampa, brown Wampa.
the elusive brown Wampa.
We dyed the hair brown. Please don't kill me.
There's probably brown Wampas. It doesn't make sense, but there's blonde Wookiees. So
Yeah, that makes more sense though.
It
Yeah,
still
I
have sleeves on it. You could just rip them off. Make a vest.
just rip it off the arms again.
That's awesome.
Oh, speaking of that, when Leia kisses Luke and he does the thing Chewie did in the last movie, he's just like, yeah, making
The
out
lean
with
back
my
and all that.
sister.
A little less intimidating.
Yeah.
No, but I still think that George was fucking with the idea that almost all the other characters that aren't our heroes looked at Chewie as a lot less
Well, he
of
does
a person.
get scratches and pets twice in this movie.
Right.
So.
So I think like George is not had not fleshed out how sentient they are. It's like he's kind of just a dummy.
I mean,
works
Han
on
treats
stuff.
him like an equal.
The rest of our crew does too. I think.
I mean,
well,
equal
Leia
in
not
this-
much.
an equal in the sense of like, I mean, I guess not an equal because Han is the captain, but he treats him like another sentient being.
Right.
'cause, I mean, he is yelling at him a lot, but
He treats him
that's
like
just-
a person.
that's how Han talks to people he loves.
That's his love language.
Not only are they animalistic, they're more nature based. So fuck you. You're not.
yeah.
You're not.
Oh, you're one with the
technology.
trees? Go fuck
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
Oh, you
dude.
have a bow? That must mean you're not human.
Then he finally uses it in episode 7.
I didn't know that all the humans in Star Wars were American.
Yeah, they are.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
I actually,
United States of Alderaan.
I read that Kirshner wanted all of the rebellion people, the Alliance people, to be like have American accents, and all the Imperials to still have British.
A little too on the nose.
Yeah, but of course, most of their extras were British.
Yeah.
So a lot of them just had to get dubbed over.
It would have been a little too on the nose.
Yeah. But yeah, so the Imperial fleet arrives. That's where we see the Super Star Destroyer, which is sweet.
Very sweet.
I mean, it's kind of just a bigger Star Destroyer with like a rave going around along the outside of it.
It's pointier. It
Yeah.
looks like it could actually pierce the sun.
Yeah. It also doesn't give a fuck about asteroid fields.
No way.
You watch these other Star Destroyers get obliterated.
Yeah, this is like, take it on, dude. We just, we lost like 20 people up in the front. We don't care.
Actually, I love that part. It's a little later, but when they're going through the asteroid field and he's got like, Vader's having
The
like a
hollow-
hollow meeting.
Uh-huh.
And he's got like 4 dudes in front of him that are all like the heads of their ships. And one of them gets hit by an asteroid, and you see the guy just like fuzz out and disappear. And Vader just doesn't even acknowledge. He's not like, "Whoa, there goes that guy." He's just
Looks like you are up for a promotion.
asteroid fields do not scare me.
Yeah.
Well, they do scare us, sir. I don't care.
You are expendable.
I don't give a fuck.
Always end it with a caw.
But I love that when he does, they do get this thing that tells them where they are. Like they show the message from the probe droid, and he just sees the shield generator, and he's like, "That's it,
That's
right
them.
there. They're
That's
there."
them.
And this admiral's like, "I don't know about." He's like, "Shh, that's them."
Let Daddy Vader take
can
over
smell the
from
Force.
here. How do you know? The Force.
But so yeah, they get there and they jump out of light speed too close to the planet. Vader says, he's like, "That admiral is clumsy and stupid." And I'm like, you have a Star Wars word for
Yeah, McClunky.
that guy? Is McClunky.
That guy is stupid and McClunky. Dank Ferrick.
But I love he just turns around immediately and like FaceTimes this dude and then just chokes him to death.
Yeah.
And the next guy, he's like, "Hey, Admiral,
Yeah.
do better."
I'm not an admiral. Admiral.
Speaking of do better, because David Lynch was supposed to direct this. No, Jedi.
Yeah.
Do it again, but,
But
better.
better.
So is Captain Piet the one who gets choked out right away, or is he the one that now takes over?
Piet's the one who takes
Who
over.
takes over. Okay, and he's the one who just like every time's like, oh,
Yes,
something
sir.
went wrong.
Yes, sir.
Oh shit.
Let's launch the entire fleet. Everybody, send everybody. This is the most important thing. We need to keep me alive.
But I read like on the alternate versions thing on IMDb, they had a bunch of lines that were changed from the original to this one. Most of which I'm like, why? Just because you could?
Yeah.
But this one was changed, and the changed version is still here because I think we've said before, but they used some of the new stuff that wasn't like new graphics and all that. Because the original, and I remember it, he's like, "You're in charge now," and now he says, "You're in command now."
Well,
I'm
I
like,
just
what's
and
the
why?
that's
point of
even
that?
in
Like,
the specialized because they had to use.
yeah,
a
well, I
little
think
bit
that
of
they were
this.
using, like I said, the upgraded stuff that wasn't visually changed.
Okay,
Which is
yeah.
why we have Tamora Morrison's voice instead of Jeremy Bullock.
I did think it was funny though. When I was reading about that, they list off all these different lines that were changed. One of them is when R2 gets spit out, and he's like, "Good thing you don't taste good," or something like that. And it's like, "Oh, you were lucky," or it's just it doesn't have the "good thing you don't you're lucky you don't taste good" line. And at first I was like, well, that's stupid. But then it's like, well, basically they had a bunch of different takes. And when they were doing the special editions, they were trying to make sure everything was the best quality. So they were going through and they're like, well, this one sounds the best, so we'll use it. And even though like Lucasfilm had people that were like supposedly very closely watching all these changes being made, they didn't even know that the lines had been changed. Like they didn't realize the lines had been changed until it was released and people said something. So the people in charge of changing and updating Star Wars aren't familiar enough to be like, that "you don't taste good" line should be "you don't taste
Not
good."
in the
Right.
original.
That needs to be the line.
Yeah, because the original, the one in the re-released one was just, "Oh, you were lucky to get out of there."
Mm.
I was like, no, "You're lucky you don't taste good" is hilarious.
Yeah, because
And apparently that's
piece
the
of
version
metal.
that's in the script, is "you're lucky to get out of there." And then "you're lucky you don't taste good" was something Mark Hamill just said.
Well, it's better. Punching up George Lucas's script.
Oh, because it probably just happened when she was talking shit to Han. I read some stuff about the Hungarian translations. It was just a fun thing that was under the alternate versions. So they've done a bunch of them, but apparently she calls Han hairy soled, as in like the bottom of your feet are hairy, because it's a derogatory term slur for Romanian people in Hungary.
Oh, man.
So it's like, that's their like insult. And he responds with, "Who told you my feet were hairy?" or something like that.
You been jerking off with your feet? Let's see the bottom
How
of it.
dare you?
And apparently Lando also calls Han, instead of "you scoundrel" or whatever he says later on, I have it written down, he says, "You lowly bastard pimp.
Oh, you old pirate.
You old pirate." He calls him a lowly bastard pimp.
You
in the
lowly
Hungarian
bastard
version.
pimp, you. Get over here. You old
Yeah.
fucking pimpin' since been pimping.
Damn, George should have hired these fucking Hungarian writers.
Well, the guys doing the voice acting apparently were not great, because there's a lot of mistakes that were left in, like when Luke calls the droid adored.
Adored.
Yeah.
It's adorable.
It's adored.
It's adored. I adore it.
So they all arrive, and these guys come out, and he's like, "Oh, look, our first catch of the day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so cocky and arrogant. This is going to go well. It's going to go swimmingly."
He learned from Moff Tarkin.
Yeah.
Flee in our time of victory? No, no, no.
That went well for Tarkin.
I'm going to take out my penis and stroke.
All right. Now you shoot the laser when I shoot.
Ooh, if we can time this out together. Oh, too late.
That's why when they were doing the thing before they pulled the handle, they were like holding, or what were they saying?
Hold.
Like they were like
hold.
preparing, like whatever. Right before they say like 4 times. They're like, wait.
This thing's been ready to fire for
Wait.
like fucking 30 seconds. What are we waiting for?
There he goes. Oh, we're dead. It's too bad Tarkin lasted that long.
Yeah.
Was that Cushing?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
This
these like
beautiful little
ion
sandal.
cannons.
Oh, the booby cannon?
Yeah.
The
I mean,
booby
besides
can-
the booby part, I just like the concept of like we have like surface to air missiles in the real world,
Uh-huh.
but like surface to way out past the atmosphere, surface
There's-
to moon.
Just cover fire into space.
Yeah.
Just fucking
There's a
all the way.
Clone Wars episode, I think, that talks about them getting this. If it's not
Like
a
an
cl-
ion cannon.
Yeah, it's a rare thing to have, especially what you're talking about. It's fucking surface to outer stellar.
Yeah, they're not in the atmosphere or near the atmosphere.
Uh-huh.
They're pretty far away from the planet, and it takes out a Star Destroyer. I mean, it doesn't destroy it, but it
Just
shuts it
deabilizes
down.
it.
Yeah, deabilizes.
Yep. It's,
Disabled.
It's unable to be abled.
Ah.
It's de-abled. Used to be able, now it's deed.
And we get the AT-ATs for the first time, right? Yeah, because the last one we had an AT-ST.
On the streets.
Yeah,
No, that was in Rogue One.
no.
Okay, so
Didn't we
no
have one
New
in the
Hope?
first movie or no?
No.
All right, maybe
That
we were
sounds
talking
right.
about it on Rogue One. We've been talking about Star Wars a lot lately.
Yeah, we
It's
don't. I
weird.
don't. We
Like
don't
a
get
year
it.
straight or something.
We don't get any land battles and. Well, maybe there is one at the. No, there's not one. They're using dewbacks in Tatooine.
Oh,
That's what I
not the
said.
preferred nomenclature, dude.
Yeah, it is. It's an animal, man. They're animals.
Do Americans, please.
That looks terrible, by the way. I'm sure we talked about it on episode 4 when it goes to Tatooine. It's all CG stormtroopers, and they make all the port look busier. It looks terrible.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about it while we were recording
Because I think we all did
didn't
the
wanna-
specialized
Yeah.
edition or the despecialized.
Yeah. No, that's like I talked about it on that one, but that's the only one I saw in theaters of the re-release. That's the only one I've seen of the re-releases, the special editions. Because, I mean, I guess I saw them later, much later on. But once I knew about all the changes, because I didn't have these, and we had to watch them streaming before we went and saw Force Awakens. But like, yeah, all the extra just traffic. Like, why?
Yeah.
It should be.
And then
it's
the
a
storm you
backwater.
had like it's the part where he holds up the gear and he's like, "Look, there are droids." In the background of that are just a bunch of stormtroopers riding the dewbacks, and nothing looks good. Keep just the guys you
I do
had
remember
in.
that. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of look, sir, droids, there's a guy here in the walker, like the assault on the thing. General Maximilian Veers
Yeah,
piloting the Blizzard 1.
yeah. Maximilian Veers is a beloved character in the underground.
Yeah, he's got a whole bunch of stuff about him too, and he's very good at placating Darth Vader, from what I read. Like he's good at just being like, whatever you say, sir.
Yes, sir.
Because he's watched a lot of people get choked.
Yeah, yeah. You really should get
And
better
he's
at
like, "Look,
placating
I like
guys.
being choked, but not all the way.
He always finishes. He never gets to finish.
He's like, I loved In Excess.
Ooh.
David Carradine was a good actor.
Well, that was
the only two I
on that
knew.
StarWars.com article. It was like a list of characters you should know, like minor characters you should know, and it was like giving little bits of their backstories. And I was like, God damn, these Star Wars people.
Everybody needs a story because everyone's like, "What's up with that guy driving the AT-AT? What's up with that?"
I mean, I guess his AT-AT does the only one I think that doesn't get destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
So he would have stories.
Yeah.
He continued on. And I'm sure he retired at an old age.
I'm sure nothing. He wasn't on the second Death Star. We're gonna give you a nice cushy job on the second Death Star where nothing can happen to you.
Can I have a shitty job anywhere else?
Yeah. Let's see.
I saw the first one.
Do you want me to patrol Dagobah? Just by myself? Like just keep an eye out for anything?
You know what? I'll stay here on Hoth and just make sure they don't come back.
What's Naboo doing?
Well, he does love that Nabooty.
He
So-
loves that Nabooty.
What's Niamos like this time of year? Could they use an AT-AT?
He doesn't go anywhere without his AT-AT, dude.
Oh, speaking of Niamos, because they had the shore troopers,
Yeah.
right? Variants of stormtroopers. Here on the assault thing, we get to see the KKK troopers.
Uh-huh.
So,
Snow troopers.
Was it?
Snow troopers.
I figured.
It's
Those
funny
are hoods.
because the shore troopers were George Lucas's idea when they were doing Rogue One. He's like, just one thing I could say is I always envision the Empire having a different variant for every encounter, even though we still have stormtroopers on the jungles of Endor Moon, but
Yeah.
you know,
Just different
it's
paint
cool.
jobs, though.
sometimes not. Sometimes it's just a stormtrooper in white.
Well,
But still-
on Endor, yeah, or on the moon of Endor. But usually it's like this is like it's not a different paint job. They just gave him a different helmet.
Uh-huh.
And then you have like, well, there's those guys. Those guys are really tough. We'll make them the all black ones.
Right.
And those guys, they hang out on the beach, so we're gonna paint their suits.
But the
brown.
snow troopers, I mean, this is designed like those hoods would be so the air doesn't get up in there.
It's creepy, but it's
yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just looks an awful lot like the KKK's running around.
Yeah, it also looks like maybe like a suit where you like gas people and you don't want to be exposed to gas. It's really creepy, but it's awesome.
No, you haven't heard about those experiments the Empire was doing, trying to glue people together or whatever.
You know they did.
They hired
the shit that Palpatine was
they
into.
hired
man.
Dr. Cornelius Ebazan.
Yeah. Mangala.
So Luke's gunner gets killed. Dak, who gets a name for 4 minutes before he's shot in the face.
Ooh, Dak. We should get to know this character. Oh, there goes Dak.
Named after someone's dog, I guess, on the crew.
But that,
Dak was.
What a good Dak.
I guess it's just to set up for Luke to crash and do his cool thing later on, right?
Mhm.
Because he doesn't have anybody who can shoot his tow cables because he
Right.
can't control that from the front. Terrible design, by the way. I understand having a gunner, but like if something happens, you should also have the ability to control your guns.
They probably thought if your gunner's dead, you are too. Like these aren't big ships.
Yeah,
You know.
these are
They're-
the ones they used in Obi-Wan, right?
Yep.
Yeah. T-47.
Yeah.
Ha!
T-41?
Damn it!
T-47. It might be.
It's got a T in it
Yeah, it
and a
does.
4.
Is this what Luke used to target? Wampas?
No, that's
that's T16.
Skyhopper,
T16.
right?
Okay.
Right? T16?
Yeah,
T16?
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Whatever.
So the problem is I'm
T16.
terrible with numbers. Like I have that math.
You're like, give me an
dyslexia
AT-AT, an
stuff.
ATST,
Like, yeah,
give me any
all
of them, buddy.
day.
He's like, if I'm not sure, I just call it a T69 and move on.
That's the T420.
We get to see Wedge. He's there.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
funny. I read that there was no plans for Wedge to be in the movie because he was not really a character, right? But people really liked him, so George was like, "Yeah, I'll work him into the script, or I'll get them to work him into the script."
Here it is.
Here it is.
I don't.
He's like, "I'm flying."
I'm Wedge. Hi, I'm Wedge.
I guess he's the one who takes down the first AT-AT. So
I might have mentioned this on another one, and I don't know which Biggs or Wedge would have been in, but Biggs and Wedge became Final Fantasy characters in like I don't know 1990.
Biggs is from episode 4, New Hope.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Wedge was also at the same time. I think wasn't
'Cause Biggs was
there too. On
yeah,
New Hope.
Biggs was his friend
Yeah.
from
and
from
Wedge
home.
died, I think.
No, Wedge
in
didn't
Rogue
die.
One? No, so he's still
Wedge
he
is
was
in
still
this
alive.
one.
Oh,
This
Wedge-
is
yeah,
Wedge.
Wedge
Wedge is the
makes
one
it
that takes
through.
down the first AT-AT.
Oh, okay, okay.
Biggs dies.
Oh, you know what? I
Biggs
do remember the
Darklighter
game you're
dies.
talking about.
There were so they did it on like 5 of them, including Final Fantasy VII,
Okay,
which is my favorite.
No, I just because we're talking about the AT-ATs, I went all the way back to that. I remember now
Oh,
flying
the
around trying to take
circling
him
that-
down.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
dude.
I remember that now. It just
So
came
good.
flooding back to me. You said it earlier, and I was like, I
Shadows
don't
of the
remember playing
Empire,
that.
maybe I forget the name, but it was good.
Shadows of the Empire is.
That was the PC one, or
Okay.
maybe I'm
Yeah.
wrong. It
Shadows of
doesn't
the
matter.
Empire sounds
I
right,
wish I
or Dark
remember.
Empire, Dark something.
I don't know. It was great.
I'll look it up when I go pee.
Shadows of the Dark Empire
There we go.
2.
Dark Empire Shadows.
But yeah, so they're tripping the walkers, and I guess I read so this is all obviously stop motion. This is a bunch of cool Phil Tippett work. But I guess when they fall, maybe not this first one because it did look a little stop motion-y to me. But the other one that falls sideways and explodes, they didn't do stop motion for that because there's a little more intricate stuff going on. And they did some kind of high motion something camera, high speed camera, and then they had precision explosives. So it's basically literally just a little toy that's like no.
It looks cool.
It looks good. Stop
I mean, especially as a
motion
little
and-
kid, man, this blew me away. Like, this is just one of the coolest scenes that you've ever seen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you watch that first movie and you're like, yeah, and then this movie starts with this.
Like, this movie's about to fuck. You start with that?
And so throughout this whole thing, Han and Chewie have been working on the Falcon because they're trying to leave, right? Like earlier, Han comes out because he's
You
like,
say
"We're getting-"
Han and Chewie have been working on the Falcon?
Chewie's been working on
Chewie's
the Falcon.
been working on
and
the
Han's
Falcon.
been supervising.
flirting.
But I love because that early one, Han comes out and he's like, "You took this apart right now. We're trying to leave." And then right here, he's like, "No, just plug it in." And he's yelling at another droid. He's like, "You just hold on a second, Wall-E. Plug it in," because this droid kind of looks like Wall-E.
Yeah. It's kind of close to the Star Tours robot.
Okay, I vaguely remember
A little
Star
bit Johnny
Tours,
5, I remember.
but
on the
because it's
Star
got the
Tours
two
robot.
little camera things.
Mhm. I think it's it looks like the Star Tours robot that's not the one driving the Star Tour, but in the line.
other-
In line when you're walking past.
I vaguely
I'll look it up
remember
to make sure
seeing
that's
one-
right at some point.
I vaguely remember seeing one in real life. I did Star Tours, but when I went to Disneyland, I was like, I don't know, 10.
I smell a group trip.
It's new now. Star Wars is slightly.
I wish
it's
they
a
wouldn't
lot
have
different.
fucked up that hotel.
Oh yeah, I wanted that to be a good thing.
Like I saw
It's
a
a
thing about it.
destination hotel. It's all Star Wars cosplay. Like it's
They're turning it into like a corporate meeting space or something now. But I saw all these comments on it, and people are like, "Yeah, no, it would have been cool if it wasn't $6,000 a night."
yeah.
Like, come on, dude.
There's just no way.
In
Your
this
average Star
economy?
Wars fan cannot fucking afford that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they want it for corporate and high rollers. There you go.
Yeah, you know who's not staying at the Star Wars hotel? The people who can afford that. Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos don't go to Star Wars hotel.
It's
No.
people saving.
They
up.
stay in their airship above the city.
they are Star Wars. Yeah, for $6,000 a night, I better be able to fucking have sex with a Twi'lek.
I mean, it was all cosplay. If you played your cards right,
Play your
You-
Pizza cards right.
you put down the game.
The Idiot's Array.
You just walk up to one of the Twi'lek actresses. And you're like, "Idiot's Array," and she's like, "Fuck you! I don't know what you just said to me."
Get the
Because they
hell
aren't all
outta
Star
here.
Wars fans; they're just actors
I
trying to.
learned just enough to get this job, okay, buddy?
This. Can you kick this guy out? He just called me a fucking idiot.
You take whatever job you can get a.
But it's cool when Luke gets shot down and he's like, He almost gets stepped on, which was always a cool thing to watch.
Mhm.
But when he just like zip lines up to this fucking thing, or Batman hooks up to it,
Where does he get these wonderful?
why
Where
didn't
does
he?
get these
I guess he's
wonderful
actually
toys?
with the rebellion now, because like in that first, I was playing the first movie with just the score, but when they're doing the swinging thing, and he has to like take 4 minutes to pull out this long grappling hook and like throw it
That's
up,
the Empire's.
and then this one he's just like, pew.
That was the Empire's grappling hook. He took it off of a stormtrooper's belt.
It's all less efficient,
Yeah.
because they don't give a fuck.
Yeah, they get like minimal shit. Like, hey, take this cable. They're gonna try to use the cable later. It's not a good cable.
So I was watching that scene and I was like, there are like 8 cuts back and forth while Leia is covering him, and
George
he's just
didn't
like,
think of
hold
it.
on,
That's all it is. George just didn't think of it.
hold on.
The next movie, someone's like, "What if he just shoots a fucking suction cup?" Oh, oh, I like that.
But he goes up and he cuts this thing open and hucks this grenade in, and that's the one I was talking about that falls over. That's
He got the
fucking
idea
cool.
from the watching Han gut open that tauntaun. He's like, "Oh,
These are
that's
kind of like big robot tauntauns.
something I can do with this."
I thought they smelled fascist on the outside. So Han does show that he's not a total piece of shit, right? He goes back and he's like, Leia, I understand that you're trying to make sure everybody gets out, and that's cool.
You need
There's
to
one
live.
transport left. I will help you get there. Like, even though he's leaving and da-da-da, but he's not leaving for selfish reasons, really. I mean, he is leaving to save his life. But he
his
does he
idea-
does mention that they ran into a bounty hunter and he had to fight him on this other planet in between movies.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Ord Mandel. It's like, what changed your mind? It's like the bounty hunter on Ord Mandel. That's what fucking changed my mind.
he never says he's not coming back. He says he has to
Mhm.
go pay Jabba.
I bet you it's fucking Cad Bane.
That's the bounty hunter. That's Timothy Oliphant.
That's who. No, that's Cobb Vanth.
Oh, okay. I was so
Cad
close.
Bane is the blue guy that Boba Fett duels at the end of Boba Fett.
Oh,
He's a big Clone Wars bounty hunter cartoon.
he's like, you adapted to bounty hunting. I was born to it.
Boba Fett. You gotta be fast out here, kid.
You've got to be fast. I'm Bane. Cad Bane.
You adapted to bounty hunting. I was born into it.
They stuck me in a hole full of scraps. I'm just mixing up my movies
Yeah,
now.
no. Tony Stark built us in a cave made out of scraps.
General Veers takes out the shield generator. And I took a video of this explosion because I read that this is one of the things they changed again on the Disney Plus version. So I wanted to compare it and see if, because this looks like the old one. 'Cause it's got like the practical explosion stuff going on. There's like little sparks, like fireworks
you can see
flying
like
out of it.
phosphorus coming out.
Yeah. So I wanted to put on the Disney Plus one and check, but then I just didn't.
Yeah.
I forgot. So
The one
I went back and forth a good amount, and there was really not enough added to warrant the changes. I mean, even the laser beams, I don't like them as much.
yeah.
They're too fucking precise. They looked cool. They looked
Yeah, when it was this analog stuff they were doing where they're like drawing on film and doing all this stuff,
Yeah.
it looks like maybe something that comes like, especially when you're talking about the Rebels, 'cause we've talked about how they're using like secondhand equipment. It's like it's rough.
Yeah,
Like,
this looks like,
maybe this blaster's not in great shape.
I kept going
Yeah, it
back and
wouldn't
forth,
be.
and this looks like cell shading, these perfect like bolts, and it's not as strong. It looks
I mean,
more
they-
CG.
They look
It
cool
doesn't look as
in the
real.
later, like when we watched Andor and stuff, they look
They
cool,
did a
but
good
everything
job.
on that looks new.
Yeah,
Right.
It looks like it's shot that way.
Yeah.
This looks like it was shot in 1980 or 1979.
and then you threw some CG on top. Yeah,
or hand painted it in.
there was a little Cloud City stuff I liked more. Besides that, almost everything was a loss.
But Han and Leia get trapped in a tunnel, so he's like, all right, I'll take you on the Falcon. This wasn't my plan, I promise.
There's a deleted scene.
Jump on my Falcon. I've got a casting couch.
Just come on aboard. There's a deleted scene right around here that is the reason George didn't. It got deleted because George didn't want paper. The Empire's coming in. 3PO sees a sign that was warning that there's a Wampa cave behind this door, and he rips the sign down, and you see stormtroopers go in and just get fucking. Whoomp, and it was a pretty funny scene. It's a C-3PO being like, takes a warning sign down and leaves, but can't have paper.
Oh, that's too bad because that would have been hilarious.
Yeah.
That would have been a moment of levity because there was a moment in this that's supposed that George Lucas thought was going to be funny and Irving Kershner thought would play as comedy. Nobody reacts that way because it's not funny.
Which one?
It's when they're escaping the asteroid worm. You said its name, but I don't remember.
The Exogorth.
sounds about right. But that was apparently supposed to be funny, and everybody was disappointed that people didn't laugh at it.
It's great. It's not
Yeah,
funny.
It's awesome. I don't look. It looks like a turd. And it's coming out of an asteroid. They're all childish.
It's cool.
Yeah.
He's shortly out of college. It's fine.
It'll be funny. Butt stuff. It's. Did you think that we were gonna kind of just have a revelation, like, oh my god, it's not a fucking asteroid cave, it's a worm nudging people next to you?
By the way, making fun of him for thinking fart jokes would be funny is like we just did like 20 minutes on farts and poop earlier.
Yeah.
So, all right, just making sure we know what we're talking about here.
I'm taking online courses in my college years. That's why I'm drinking so much.
We'll just rewrite it all. We're going to Dagobah, and we're fucking Darth
The boobs.
Darth Toilet.
We got to go to the boobs.
Yeah.
But one of many times in this movie alone,
We got to go to hot.
the Millennium Falcon doesn't behave. I love just the sad trumpet noise every time the fucking
Try it again.
Falcon doesn't work. Yeah, that's what it's like, because I know it's an engine not starting. It's like a space engine.
Yeah.
And just like with the hyperdrive, twice in this movie, but all I heard was.
Sorry, guys. This never happens to me. I usually hit the button and we just go.
Usually I can go on cue.
Is this where he has... Oh, no, they haven't escaped yet.
No, but she does have the line, Leia. She's like, would it help if I got out and pushed?
So wait a minute. You're telling me that you, as the Princess of Alderaan, had to get out and push someone's speeder?
Also, you can push speeders, push start them? Like, they
I
don't
mean,
have
if it
wheels.
has... If it
They're
has
always
a-
floating, so
As long as
yes.
if it's not starting, would it be floating?
It depends on the repulsor lift. Could be a whole independent system,
There we
go. Not
Oh, okay.
propellant.
Yeah,
It
they're
also
on
depends on
backup
what repulsor
power.
lift you have. Are we on an atmospherical repulsor
I'm getting
lift or
repulsed.
This is repulsoring.
not? A repulsor, everybody.
Luke walks back to the base from the battle to immediately jump into the X-Wing and fly out with R2.
With no problem.
And I get that he was told, like, you have to go to Dagobah and train with Yoda. That's cool. But, like, these people are still trying to evacuate. Shouldn't he have stuck around and helped? He's like, they've got it.
Who's he going to help?
Anybody.
How's he going to help, brother?
Pew, pew.
But he can't take anybody with him. They already missed the transport. They're dead.
No, just like helping in the space battle part, because there's still transports trying to get out and stuff. That's what I
Yeah.
mean. He jumps in and flies away and just leaves.
Part of the Rebels' whole thing with these snub fighters is hit and run.
I mean, I guess they're all like when the transport goes out, they have 2 escorts and they're jumping out right away, and that's how
Yeah.
each one's working. So I guess, but it just seemed weird to me for him
You
to just
got
be
the
like,
fucking executor up here. You got a boogie.
yeah, I guess the X-Wing's not gonna do much to that.
No way.
The regular Star Destroyer laughs at Han when they think he's gonna try to fight them. So.
Yeah. Imagine fucking Vader watching this X-wing. Oh, he'd grab it from the fucking window, just hold it in place.
It's like me standing outside and being like, that gnat thinks he's gonna take me down.
that gnat is headed right for me.
If it's a mosquito, maybe.
I mean, phew, we didn't talk about mosquitoes.
it might take me down for a couple days. This fucking bullshit. The Imperials are pursuing the Millennium Falcon through space. He does
And
make
time.
He does make these 2 Star Destroyers hit each other, which is funny.
Because, like, do we have a chance? He's like, we can still outmaneuver them.
Yeah, because like you go between them, they don't. It doesn't. It's like not bad enough to take one of them down, but you see the inside shot of all the dudes like, whoa, fuck,
Easy, big fella. I mean, this is a weakness of this class of Star Destroyer, is that it's not what it's for. It doesn't do well with little snub fighters and things like that. It is a reactionary thing. It is supposed to be when a planet causes you a problem, you bring a couple fucking of those, you release garrisons of AT-ATs, and you release garrisons of, they have mobile, like fabricated bases in them. So you just drop that down, boom. You know, and like, we can help with orbital bombardments and we can fight ships, but like, how do we capture this little guy? Like you said earlier with the gnat, you can't catch that gnat.
yeah,
You almost have a better chance of catching a bat.
which we see here in a minute, kind of.
Oh, yeah, kind of. Minox, dude. You hate him.
But this is the second time he's like, all right, well, we're getting away from him. Watch this. Beep, 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 beep.
Oh, well, that was anticlimactic.
And I love this part because he's running around. He's like, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. Because then later on, when they're leaving, when Lando's in charge and they're leaving after he's been frozen, he's like, I thought they fixed it. It's not my fault.
Yeah, it's still
like,
not my fault.
They're the same character,
What are the chances it was the thing that Chewie was taking apart and putting back together? That's all they needed.
But it's like 3PO's been trying to tell him this whole time. He's like, I have something important to tell you. He's like, somebody shut this fucking thing up. And he's like, so this is what I was trying to tell you. Your hyperdrive, that ain't working.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, like, would they take him back there to fix it? Instead of trying to be like, hey, your hyperdrive's not working. I know we're in this life and death situation and we have to flee. Why don't he just walk back there and fix it?
Because he had to diagnose it first. He had to hook up to the Millennium Falcon's computer, which we know to be the droid, and talk to it. And he even said, he's like, I don't know where you got that, but she has a really weird dialect. Like, so maybe it was just troublesome. Like, Millennium Falcon's like, I'm not telling you what's wrong with me. I don't know you. Why don't you come in here and figure it out?
It's Phoebe Bridger.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Millennium Falcon. What's your problem? What's your problem? Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Droids' lives matter.
Stand up and rebel.
And so they dive into this asteroid field for cover. I mean, they kind of accidentally find it, but then they go into it for cover to get away. And apparently, and I couldn't see it, and so I went and looked up pictures, and I still couldn't quite see it in these little fuzzy pictures people had. But apparently, there's a shoe and a potato flying around here.
Oh, I've heard this.
Because I think George Lucas was giving the guys at ILM a bunch of shit about doing something during this scene.
It cost
and one of
so
them was
much.
Like, one of them was like, yeah, watch this.
Shoe, potato.
He's like, the costs are outrageous here. Okay.
Which one? I think it was the prequels we saw that they had a kitchen sink.
Yeah.
Because it was the animators like just throw everything in there, like everything in the kitchen sink. So one of those ships blows up, maybe the invisible hand, and a sink just comes flying out.
Now their odds of surviving are 3,720
Never
to 1.
tell me the odds. Never tell me.
Oh my.
Well, now the odds are a little bit. I don't care.
Actually, odds are changing every second. Now there are 740. Shut up.
They're only getting worse, just so you know. So yeah, they land inside this asteroid, and we've got this famous scene. I mean, it's first we get a peek of unmasked Vader.
Yeah.
The back of his head.
In his meditation chamber.
He's like, I don't give a fuck about an asteroid field. Go.
Like you said, everyone's dying. He's like, no.
Because you see when they show all the ships, his is getting hit by asteroids too. They're just like,
plink,
plink.
And is that what it's called, a meditation chamber?
Yeah.
It's masturbation chamber. You know, he's fucking.
I mean, it is
getting his rocks
one
off
of the
in there.
only places that he can have his suit off and survive. So,
Yeah, I read it was something about like
It's
changes the
pressurized.
barometric pressure. It's a decompression chamber, like you're coming up from the ocean. You don't want to get the
and
bends.
it's pumped
And
full
he
of
can poop
oxygen.
and jerk off at the same time, too.
Yeah, I mean, you
so-
could do that in any bathroom. You could really do
That's not exclusive to his meditation chamber. You can shit and jerk off anywhere, Ryan. Shit, man. You can do it right here.
I
if
mean, I
you
guess
wanted
he
to.
can't because he can't take the suit off.
Yeah.
He can poop with the suit on. It wouldn't be comfortable.
Sorry,
But-
just your delivery of you can do that in any bathroom. Trust me.
Dirty Harry, we call it.
oh, you're running late for work. You're a little horny.
You're real hungover and you need something to fix you.
Man, you know what makes me super horny is taking a hungover shit.
It's like you know what? I'm just
Yeah.
so
In this meditation chamber,
Back to the
canon
movie.
in canon, but not in the movie. Obviously, he would just play fucking like memories.
Xbox.
He would force memories of just Padme, and make himself. We talked about how he's depressed. He's not a good Sith, because Sith are supposed to be angry and they're supposed to be all this.
His feelings come
he's just
through
depressed.
every now and then, yeah. I mean, it happens in
Right, but
Return,
like
obviously.
as strong as he is, even though he is neutered heavily by this suit, he could still take the Emperor if he wasn't a depressed piece of shit. But he just is. He's like, whatever, it's my life now. I'm a fucking lapdog for the Emperor, I guess. Well, in return, his whole thing is trying to get Luke to help him because he knows he can't do it on his own. But then,
well, because with this rule of two, he needs a guy.
yeah,
He can't kill his guy till he's
I don't
got
think
a
the
guy.
rule 2 was written yet in George's mind.
It wasn't, but it still fits.
Dude, we need like a lost weekend in between episode 5 and 6 where he's like trying to be good. He's like starting to slip to good a little bit. Like and he's just like, I'm just thinking about changing.
Hey guys, hey Captain, nice maneuver today out there. That was pretty sick.
Have you guys thought about not being so evil? Like, I know, Palpatine, but
I'm sorry, I lost them, sir. Not a big deal. We'll get them next time, dude.
Going
Live
to
and let live.
Niamo, Slater, Rager.
Dude, he's got motivational posters of like a Minoc hanging, just as like hang in there.
It's a casual Friday.
Casual Friday. Not for me, of course.
No, that's his casual wear.
He's got burlap, like a burlap armor.
He puts a scarf around his normal thing. It's a very
He puts
colorful
on a-
scarf.
He puts on a
It's
bathrobe.
it's everything but then black shorts.
He's still got the chest machine, and he's got the helmet
yeah.
because he needs it to live. But then he's just got a kimono instead of his black robe.
Yes.
Let me get my AI
We've
app
done
real
a lot of
quick.
this AI
we've
stuff
done a
already.
lot of this. I'll show you some
Darth
of the ones I've
in
done.
tuxedos.
I've got Darth Maul running a tea shop.
Now we need Darth Maul like on the beach in some shorts with still with his respirator.
Or Vader on the beach.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I said Maul and fucked it all up.
It's okay. You can have Darth Maul running a tea shop
I did.
with spider legs.
That's the one I had running it.
the spider leg one.
No,
Oh,
just Maul. Just
So
Maul.
then I got Vader running a T-shirt shop next to him.
All right.
Badass.
It's the Darth block.
Oh yeah.
Right next door, Count Dooku. I guess he wasn't a Darth though.
Well, no, Darth Tyrannus.
Oh yeah, he was.
He
Okay,
is.
he's got he'll read your palms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, fucking Palpatine's Pizzeria is right next door. So.
It's called Palpatinos.
Papa Palpatinos.
You've got.
You can use the Darth Vader in the back, but it won't flush.
He keeps using really xenophobic words in his commercials. The right next door to that,
You won't
though,
find any
you can
hair in
get
your
a
pizza
vasect-
here because we don't hire those Wookiee people, those Wookiee freaks. I don't know any slurs in Star Wars.
Mad Claw would be what you'd call a Wookiee.
We don't hire those Mad Claws.
There you go. Yeah, you can get a vasectomy from the Darth Freedom Nad.
Tell me that's a real guy.
Freedom Nad is his name.
Okay, cool, good. Like it. Love
Yeah.
it. Want some more of it.
Then Exar Kun Tree Biscuits.
Then you just need someone to build a hotel at the end. That's that Jawa hotel we were talking about.
Oh yeah.
That way you can just go to all these places and you don't have to.
Oh,
just
Darth
travel too
Talon.
far.
She has to do the nails. Just has to.
And then we have Massage Ventress.
That's how you dismount, is with that one. Massage Ventress is good. It's Asajj Ventress is the character. Just in case anyone hasn't watched the Clone Wars, you should.
I did not know it, so all right.
She's awesome.
Oh, but so inside,
She's the same race as Darth Maul, but a female and a night sister.
Okay. I think I've seen pictures
She's
of her. Yeah.
rad.
thank you guys for listening. That's the end of part 1 of our discussion on Star Wars Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, we knew it was going to be long, but
Yeah.
with Ryan there, we just kind of went off, as I'm sure you just heard. So,
I mean, you can't. We have a whole segment about making fun of Darth Vader's masturbation, so we can't cut that content.
yeah, it's good content. It's very related to Star Wars. But thank you guys for listening.
Thank
Tune
you.
in 2 more weeks for part 2.
Do is this, and I'm sitting here singing this stupid song about Star Wars. Like, oh man, Derek's gonna be so proud. Nope, couldn't fucking hear me. It was just like Star Wars, talking about Star Wars. I like to imagine myself as a lounge singer in Mos Eisley. Hey, how you doing? Where you from? Who you running from?
Like B. Arthur almost.
Almost exactly.